No,
But
it's
she buys it in
ridiculous.
dollars, bro. It was 10,000. It was 21 grand or 20 grand. She bought it in dollars.
That's so nice.
Yeah, bro.
That's the massive problem with devices because every year there's a new one.
And shoes and
Yeah.
fucking everything, bro.
Cars.
It's the fucking worst. But you buy shoes and then the new model comes out and you're like, oh, fuck, I need to buy those.
What's your biggest...
Have we started?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're just cruising, bro.
Oh, shit.
What's your biggest thing? For me, it used to be cell phones.
Yeah.
Like every new iPhone, I needed the new iPhone. I've grown up a little bit from that. It was at a stage also the watch.
Yeah.
I had the 6. Then I'm like, no, the 7 came out. I need the 7. But now looking at the price of the 8, I'm just like,
No, it's ridiculous.
I can last
bro.
a few. Like this watch can last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they can. And like I said, we're consumerists. So, like,
Yeah.
they get us like that. But the phone thing is funny. My OCD is so bad, but I'm an even numbers kind of guy. So I'd get 16, then the 18 or the 14. I couldn't do the odd numbers. But yeah, I was like that with phones. Also, I've grown up, I think.
What is it for you, though? Is there one thing where it's like, no, I want the newer one because the newer one's better, even though it's pretty similar?
Probably shoes. Shoes.
Yeah, what are those? Those are super.
These are the Nova
Nova
Blast.
Blast.
These are the 4s. I got them, and the next day the 5 came out. Literally the next day.
It's always like that.
No, it's the worst, bro.
So when you're getting the 5s,
They're in my cart.
you need to run maybe 100 Ks,
Yeah,
and then you
bro, I
can say
need
you
to
can't
get
run
some
anymore.
mileage in these at least.
But that for me, getting into running, I'm like, no, it's going to be cheaper than cycling. Obviously, it is to an extent because the bikes are so expensive.
Yeah.
But running shoes, I mean, the amount we're running, I would like to buy or prefer like after 400 Ks, I need a new pair
Definitely.
because I don't like to feel. If I feel a difference in the cushioning, I'm like, no, it's time for a new pair, which is a problem.
Yeah, and Strava also doesn't help because you can I guess you can adjust it, but Strava tells you when you need new shoes. It's like, okay, you've run 500 Ks, time for a new pair of shoes.
I chat to people and they say they run like 800 Ks, and I'm always so surprised that their knees aren't giving in or something. Maybe it's just my mind telling me, time for some new shoes, bro.
I think we just lock down things, really.
Yeah, that's true. So you obviously were into cycling as well, though, or still are kind of.
Yeah, I still am. So 2023, I did a lot, bro. Triathlons, mountain bike racing, a lot of races, I did a lot of events. So last year, I decided to actually take the year off. I thought, because it was hectic. With triathlon, it's a lot of disciplines.
Well, I don't know triathlon. I've never done one, but I understand.
Yeah, you
based
understand.
off trail running and all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, any sort of but triathlon, I guess, it's a very time consuming. But 2023, I did a lot. So 2024, I decided to take my feet off the brakes. No, off the accelerator.
Put your feet on the brake.
Put my foot on the brakes. Yeah, I decided to take a rest. So yeah, and then I haven't been cycling as much. I decided not to do any sort of races or anything, but then I ended up doing Bergen Bush, which is, I mean, that's one of my best. Shout out to Bergen Bush.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I've done it twice as well.
It's definitely my favorite mountain bike race on the calendar. So I did that, but again, not racing it. I took it chilled. I think when you competing or doing these events, and it becomes almost like a job, but it takes the fun out of it. So that's why 2024 I decided to actually, and I started enjoying it again. So I was doing it chilled instead of like racing around the cradle or so. Yeah, to answer your question, I do cycle, but I took the brakes off. I did Hyrox last year. That was the only sort of thing that I did in terms of competitions or challenges or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I still cycle. I need to get back on the bike, to be honest.
You come from quite a big transformation. I saw now you're in KZN. So you grew up on a farm?
Yeah, I grew up on a farm in the Midlands, born and bred farm boy. Yeah. That's my background.
So I saw photos of you before. It's not like you were exceptionally overweight or anything.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Was it just relatively unhealthy lifestyle, or what was the biggest component into maybe you deciding, okay, I need to lose some weight?
So, I mean, I've always been an active person. So I did a lot of sports at school, a lot of swimming, water polo. I've always been an active person, and I was never an overweight kid. I went overseas after school, traveled. I still didn't pick up weight then. Finally, obviously, in Europe and the UK, you walk everywhere. So also I was young, my metabolism was fast. But it actually all started when I moved to Joburg in 2010. And I ran a restaurant. And it was a famous sort of restaurant, well, a well-known restaurant in Joburg. It was the Old Giovanni in Rivonia, on Rivonia Road. So it's in Ilovo. So I ran that restaurant. I had a French chef. So he would put gnocchi on the pizza for me, and I'm a glutton at heart. So I ate a lot, and I was drinking a lot, jawling a lot, and I hadn't got into any. I wasn't doing any sort of gym, any exercising, but I also didn't realize. I don't think you realize, And the realization came for me was actually I was in Australia and I stood in the scale, and so my mates were making jokes as well, like are you working at McDonald's, things like that, and I stood on the scale and it was 104, and I was like, no, man, everything's backwards in Australia. Everything's upside down. This can't be right. And
I'm actually 401.
Yeah, exactly. So I came back to South Africa, stood on the scale again, and I was still 104. And I was like, no, this needs to change. And that's where it started, the transformation. I entered the Get Fit challenge, and that's literally where it started.
And now, obviously, you still like to enjoy yourself, still like to party. I mean, who doesn't like to enjoy themselves? And I think that's also, as you go through your transformation journey, I'm sure you obviously went through dips of like excessive, obsessive, clean. Then you realize, okay, you actually can live a balanced lifestyle, a little bit in between enjoying yourself and subjugating yourself to such terrible situations of training and dieting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, coming from the bodybuilding background. So also I'm an A-type personality, so it's all or nothing. So I'm exactly the same. And it's hard finding that balance because you're almost replacing one thing with the other. So like, the way we train, like I train 3 times a day sometimes. I'm not running away from anything. It's a habit. It's habitual and I enjoy it. I'd rather be addicted to training than like meth.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, for me, it's finding that balance. I'm very bad at stretching and things like that, which is so essential. The older I'm getting now, I'm realizing how important it actually is. How old are you now? 36.
Okay.
So like, I'm realizing now how important that actually is. It's a bit late to start realizing. And the thing is that you can't go run at 21 and an hour 30 and just think that's fine. Like, go and have a beer and you need to stretch. And I'm learning that. But again, I like that high intensity. So stretching is boring for me. And yoga is so hard, bro. I've tried it.
It's difficult.
It's so hard. I would rather do a full Hyrox pro division than go to an hour of yoga. Like yoga is hard. So finding that balance it's hard. Yeah.
When did you go what kind of stage did you go through where it was with your personality? Did you get to a point with the people in your life like Neil, bro? Like you need to you can still enjoy life a little bit.
Yeah, there are phases. I think I watched one of your podcasts, or it must have been a podcast of yours, and you were talking about the bodybuilding, and you were talking about how you wouldn't go to people's bras, or if you did, you'd pack your own lunch, and like I related to that. Like it does become like that. I mean, I did the 75 hard challenge. It was again one of the hardest things I've ever done. People were like, "Why are you doing this? You don't need to do this." You go to birthdays. We're like, when's the best time to do it? There's no best time. There's always weddings. There's always birthdays. There's always events. And it's so hard to go to these events and not have a drink. And it's so weird how the drinking culture in South Africa, like if you decide like, I'm not going to do drugs, no one says anything. But if you say, I'm not drinking, it's like, why are you not drinking? Are you joking? Is everything okay? Have you gone to rehabs? Like it's so hectic. So like it's hard to go to these things and not drink and but it's important to find that balance. But I'm also, again, going back to the A-type personality, I don't drink for fun. I don't like the taste of alcohol. I don't have a beer on a Tuesday night when I get home after work. I drink to get drunk, and have a good time. So, that's why if I'm training for something and I go somewhere, I'll rather just not drink. Because if I have one, I'm going to get absolutely dinged and I'm not going to train the next day. Then I'm going to feel guilty. And it's this repetitive cycle. And you just get into this guilt, and it's silly. It is stupid. It's something I'm working on it's that balance thing, balance is so important. Like that's so cliche that balance is key. It really is.
And it's also, someone told me, I think I've mentioned on a podcast before, but only 200 people watch my podcast. So I'll mention it again. So it was, moderation is key, even moderation in moderation.
Yeah.
So you need to have moderation, but there are times where you can't always have moderation.
Yeah.
You need to lock in on something.
Absolutely.
There are times where the other side of the spectrum of letting loose is important. So, like I'm sure you've experienced burnout with work, burnout with training. It's because you locked in too much, then now you burn out, and then you actually need to take your foot off the pedal, relax a little bit, and maybe take a week off training.
Yeah.
Maybe take a few days off training, even though it's difficult, but that then can set you up to be able to go back a bit better. So it's, moderation is key, but moderation in moderation, so that you have opportunity to lock in, be moderate, and then obviously take a bit of a more chilled.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've flirted with burnout quite a few times. I haven't quite experienced it yet. I don't know how. But like I get people ask me, like, how much should I train? There was a mate of mine this morning actually asked me, like, I'm keen to do a 2-a-day. Should I run first? And then, I've completely forgot where I was going with this, but what was I going to say?
2 days, your mate asking you.
Yeah. But I was going to say, I don't know how I haven't experienced burnout. God, I've gone completely
Maybe
blank.
just, it's different for everyone.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. It's like a diet. It's different. You got to find what works for you. That's what I was going to say. And like, how often should I rest? Well, I know rest's important. I know it. But I'm more for like rest when like
your body tells you.
Your body tells you, or something comes up, or you forced to. I don't think you should have a set. Every Monday is my rest day. If you want to go for a cycle and you're feeling good on a Monday, do it.
Yeah.
I think your life will tell you when you need a rest, or something will come up. And it's amazing though, when you have rested and you think you're going to lose your fitness, and it's amazing how the body bounces back. Like just now, after the December holidays, all I did was run. I didn't lift any weights. I didn't do any, I live on the farm. I was on the farm. I was far away from any gym.
No, we can see. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. You can't take the farmer out of me. So, and when I got back to CrossFit and gym, I was like, oh hell, I'm going to die. But it's amazing how muscle memory, like it is probably so good for me. And it was forced rest. I wouldn't have taken that rest if I wasn't, if I was near a gym or CrossFit or whatever. Yeah. So it's amazing how we bounce back. But I believe that I don't think you need to have a set rest day.
Yeah.
You rest when you know, you'll know. Like I said, I've flirted with it. I've flirted with burnout, but I haven't quite got there.
And I think it's also maybe implementing, if someone is working really hard, implementing, like if I've got a really busy Wednesday, but normally Wednesday I do legs, but this Wednesday is just too crazy busy. I'll be like, okay, let me have my rest maybe on this day.
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, I'm like, actually, no, I feel like going to gym. Then go to gym. If I wake up in the morning, I'm about to go train, I can barely get out of bed, my back is sore, then I'm like, okay, no, maybe I should rest.
Yeah.
I think it's just learning your body. And how many times have you rested, let's say on a Sunday, and then Monday you go and run, and it's such a good run. The rest on the Sunday was difficult, but then you're so much stronger on the run on a Monday. Your paces are better, and that's just because you forced yourself to rest.
Exactly. But forcing yourself to do that, like, yeah, it's weird. Like,
but even I think forcing yourself when you're sore, because sometimes we like to think we're superhuman and we can push beyond the soreness. And I don't stretch either.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to. But then my body tells me, bro, you need to stretch. Your hamstrings are really tight. It's pulling into your low back. You can't even pick up something on the floor that you've dropped because your back is so sore. Like maybe actually you do need a rest. Maybe you do need to stretch a little bit.
It's the inner Goggins in us.
Yeah. And that's also something I went through, which was quite difficult. Because I listened to his audiobooks and it was someone else reading the book, but then after every chapter, they did like a 15-minute discussion with Goggins about it. So it was actually really cool to hear him talk about the chapter after each chapter. And I got so motivated and so driven, but it was almost to a toxic level where it's like, bro, just because you ran 10 and didn't run 21, it doesn't mean you're a terrible athlete.
Pull-ups afterwards.
So like it's difficult to find that, balance, going back to that, of how much do you push, how much do you not? Are you okay and willing to sacrifice certain time with people? Are you willing to sacrifice, events? What are you willing to sacrifice? And I think it's just finding that for yourself.
Exactly.
So what happened to this men's health challenge, bro? Or face off men's health, whatever it was.
It was a cover guy search. So yeah, I mean, I was actually first in the men's health in 2019 in a article in it. It was called the Belly Off Challenge. They actually saw my post on Instagram where I actually posted about going from 104 to 81 or 80. Yeah, it was 80 because I'd lost 24 kgs. I mentioned something about eating Goji Berries, replacing KFC dunked wings. I was eating a lot of KFC dunked wings at the time. Replacing KFC dunked wings with Goji Berries. They saw it and they got in touch and they're like, listen, we'd love to do an article on you. And I was in the article for that. Since then, the editor's was asking me to come enter the cover guy search. And I was very hesitant to do it. And then COVID came, magazines took a bit of a knock. The magazine didn't actually sort of close down. And it came back now in 2023, last year. And yeah, so I entered that and made the top, the top 20, I think. And from that, I needed to then get votes. So I irritated all my followers on Instagram, sorry about that, to hound them for voting for me. Then I managed to make the top 8. I mean, it was a really cool journey. Opened up quite a few doors for me, which was quite cool. Met all the guys, a good bunch of guys as well, like-minded humans. From the top 8, we then went and did a photo shoot, and then Men's Health chose the winner. And the way you find out is you have to go buy the magazine because they had a plastic sleeve over it, open the sleeve, pull out, and I was either going to be there or I wasn't. Unfortunately, I wasn't.
But okay, so what then do you think, at least, did they mention or maybe afterwards why he won and you never? Or
No.
In your opinion?
I have no idea. I don't know what the criteria.
I think you were too good looking. You weren't relatable to the audience. But you can't, because the audience could be like, well, this is impossible. I don't want to look like this guy. I can't look like this guy. Let's choose a more But I mean, that's in terms of like bodyboarding. But you'll never get on a cover of Men's Health if you look like a bodyboarder.
No.
So that's because it's not relatable to the general public.
Yeah.
So maybe you're just too good looking, bro. That's what you should tell people.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Making me blush. I'm probably the size of my jumper right now.
The size of your jumper.
The color. You see, I can't even think. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I have no idea. But like, it was a cool experience. Like I said, it did open up a few doors. I'm grateful for it. I won't do it again. But if they ask me to come on the cover, I will.
Yeah.
It's I think any guy in this world, the sporting world, would aspire to be there. I think that's like the pinnacle.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up looking at that magazine, looking at the dudes in there and being like, yo, that looks jacked. I want to be like that one day, So yeah, we'll see.
Maybe the next issue or the next few issues, whatever. So when you lost this weight, what style of training? Because obviously I've seen before I met you, you were more into CrossFit style of training. Is that what your initial training type was? So
I missed the gym era at school. So like, I think we only got a gym when I was in matric. So we never, I don't know how to gym, bro. Like even now, if I walk into the Vision Active, I look around, I'm like, I'll get on the treadmill and I'll run, bro. I don't know how to train. So, like I said, the first thing I entered was it was called the Get Fit Challenge. I don't think it's running anymore, but they gave you a program, or you came and joined classes, and they gave you an eating program and whatever. I did that, and I really enjoyed the class environment. So that's the sort of training I like and enjoy, that class environment where you can push each other and you're competing against. I mean, it's me versus me. You're competing against yourself, but there's people with you pushing you. And so from that, I've been doing CrossFit now 8 years, I think. So yeah, I joined a CrossFit gym, and it was my first time ever doing that sort of training. My coach has been very patient with me over the years. Shout out to Chris. So yeah, I enjoy that class environment, and like loud music, get in there, get told I get forced to stretch. So stretch, this is what you're doing, do this, kill yourself till you, can you swear in these podcasts? Till you fucked, lie on the floor dying, feeling good, endorphins are going, you become part of a community. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy pushing myself till I can almost vomit. I enjoy that. I enjoy fucking myself up.
And you can't, I find I can't push myself like that by myself.
No ways.
Maybe on a run, but even then you'll probably slow down. Whereas in a class, it's like, okay, well, they're going to see I'm slowing down, or Chris is going to tell me, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know,
well,
pick
Alex
up the
beating me,
tempo.
he's doing heavier weights.
Yeah.
That's the thing about CrossFit. Like it's push as heavy weights as you can, as quick as you can, in the quickest time possible. So yeah, like it that suits me. That whole go hard, go fast, kill yourself.
Yeah. Well, I definitely, now that I've been doing the Hyrox classes, I've seen a massive benefit just from being in that class environment, because previously with bodybuilding, it's so solitary. You're a lone wolf, got your hoodie on, headphones on. Okay, fortunately, I never did that because I didn't want to look like a cliche. But
with the earphones,
yeah, headphones, hood on, walking on the treadmill,
bicep curls.
Yeah, no,
the standard photo in the gym, the gym selfie, like with the headphones on and the cap.
So yeah, I mean, that was my history with training. Was just that style of training, lone wolf. Even when I got into running and trail running, it was just a lone wolf.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point where it's like, you know, it's cool to be and subjugate yourself to this difficulty alone, but it comes a point where it's like I want to do this with someone else. It's nice to be surrounded by people that are like-minded, people that are passionate and interested and are willing to push you, and implementing a little bit of competitiveness with the people around you. Absolutely. If that guy runs faster than you, lifts heavier, whatever, it's okay. But maybe just in the class, allow a little bit of competitiveness.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, it's like, okay, well, I don't actually know how long he's been training or what other type of training he's done. Maybe this is the only session he does in a day, so he's more fresh. I've done 2 already. So I think it's also just allowing yourself, because I've tried to push away from being competitive.
Good luck.
It's very difficult. I'm very competitive with myself.
Yeah.
But it was always, I need to be the best out of everyone. And that is pretty toxic.
It's so toxic.
You know, I would never.
It's a disease.
It is a disease. I would never allow it to affect a relationship with someone. But I think in my head, I was always like, I have to beat this guy. I have to be more shredded than that person. I have to be better. I have to be better. And I found it was just like seeping into every aspect of my life. My business needs to be the best business.
Yeah.
My mental health needs to be the best. And that's just, you know, going to put you backwards because you're putting so much pressure on yourself. Whereas the moment you do it because you love it, I think it alleviates the pressure and the tension, and you can actually perform better.
Absolutely. That goes back to what I said about when I stopped, I took the year off in terms of racing, and I started enjoying cycling again because I wasn't bleeding myself around the cradle. Like I was actually enjoying it. Was
it predominantly road cycling?
No. I'm not
mountain.
A roadie at all. I never rode bike. No, all mountain. I did buy a gravel bike because obviously living in Joburg, we cycle in the mornings with the E2E guys. So it's around Joburg on the road. So when I first got there, my mountain bike, all these roadies absolutely killed me. It was actually quite a funny story. The first time I ever did it, we started at 4:55 in the morning, and it was winter, so it's dark, cold, dark. I was on my mountain bike, got there, bunch of roadies, whizzing around Joburg. I've managed to stay with them, but from it, I was just seeing their lights going further and further and further away. And we were like in sort of Rosebank area, and finally I completely lost them. Stopped, it's pitch black, freezing cold. I didn't know the route, I'd never done it before. Sitting on my bike, I was like, I'm going to get mugged. I'm going to die of hypothermia. And I slowly rode my way back home. All the guys were already having coffee, having a laugh. But I guess that made me stronger because for a long time I rode my mountain bike with these roadies, chasing them around Joburg in the mornings. But eventually I bought a gravel bike, and that was purely to train on for then the mountain bike. But yeah, mountain biking is one of my passions. I love it. I need to get back on the bike.
What about mountain biking compared to road bike attracts you more?
I think it's, again, I prefer trail running to road running. It's being out in nature, like mountain biking. Farm boy. It goes back to that, I guess. There's a big rivalry between roadies and mountain bikers.
I think not all. Road cyclists give mountain bike cycling a bad name in terms of or in general, they give cyclists a bad name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone that has driven through four ways early morning hate cyclists.
They hate cyclists, and then they generalize cyclists. And then if you're a mountain biker, you get put in that same category. Whereas we're not riding in, well, I've just told
maybe
you.
Like 5Ks.
Yeah, 5Ks just to the cradle. And then No, they do. I must be careful what I say. Yeah, I've got a lot of mates who have road bikes. So.
That's why it's not all road cyclists. But I think when you're in a big group and you think, I mean, a general rule of thumb, whoever I'm riding with, it's if you're on the roads, single file, if there's cars around you.
Or at least two abreast.
Yeah, two. Like, depending on the space, if there's a yellow line, just stay in the yellow line, try that. But also with South Africa, with taxis, that's putting your life at risk probably more than...
Cycling's a dangerous sport in this country.
Yeah.
Dangerous. I can't even count on my hands and toes the amount of times I've almost been hit by taxis, like riding in the morning, that E2E. It's a dangerous sport.
My dad, I remember... He was cycling one morning. I was in school still, and he came home, and his entire like chamois in the back of his pants was like out, and he had like these massive roasties. And he just said, no, he got hit by a taxi, and the taxi just drove away.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Luckily, he didn't break anything or any of that, but he just had roasties like all down his back. And it was just a hit and run. It was like 5 a.m. Of course, the taxi's not going to stop.
No way.
So that's, I mean, it's exceptionally dangerous, but I mean. To do what you love, you've got to put yourself in a little bit of danger.
Well, that's the thing. You kind of forced in Joburg to ride on the road to train. But yeah, on the weekends, if it's easier to get out. Going back to your question, that's why I love mountain biking. Like it's all these races that I've done have taken me to such cool places. I've done races in like Clarence, so beautiful. Wines to Wales, which is Paul to Harmonis, beautiful. That's the most like wow. I did the Cape Pioneer, a 7-day race through there. Like it's the most beautiful riding. My mom lives in Carkloof in Natal. That's got some of the best single track in South Africa actually. Beautiful to ride there. So that's why I'm mountain biking rather than road biking. And these races, these races are cool because it's almost like a weekend getaway, active weekend getaway. You get to go to cool places and do what you love and race.
Taking it back to Bergenbush, I mean, the community there, the race village, you know, people having a few drinks afterwards. Yeah. There's presentations in the marquee and all that. Like that's such a nice weekend away. And you're cycling for 2 to 3 days and, you know, being able to experience parts of the country that cars can't go and you wouldn't be able to see if you weren't on a bicycle. So that's nice in terms of like that weekend getaway.
Absolutely, 100%. Like, I can't go on enough about how cool Bergenbush is as a race.
Which one did you do?
The Descent, the 3-day.
Yeah, you see, I've done because I was doing it with my dad. We did the 2-day.
No,
it was a 3. It was a 3. It was a 3. It just wasn't the Descent because the Descent, if you want to race more races, go. But the one we did was like 60, and then like 45 or something.
So all these races have a chilled run. And now they brought e-bikes in, and then they have like a girls' race weekend, then a guys' race weekend. And that's the thing, it's cool because you can either go to the race weekend and absolutely kill yourself and enjoy it, or you just do the chilled one, like with your old man. And that's the cool thing about cycling, is that you can ride with, you know, anyone can ride. And that's the cool thing about e-bikes now, is that older people can ride and enjoy these races and do these races. And what a lacquer weekend to go with your old man and race in Winterton, you know, up the Kop. It's beautiful. It's God's country, the land of the milk and honey.
It's beautiful, bro. I haven't cycled much in Cape Town, but I've done UTCT. I've done trail runs in the Drakensberg. I've done cycles in the Drak. I think personally, for me, the Drakensberg would be my favorite place to cycle. That Winterton area. Bergville, all those places are so like for me, I don't know, it's just the mountains. Cape Town's amazing. You know, Western Cape is awesome. It's windy and it's nice to be on a mountain and then have the coast right there. Like that's really cool, and have blue waters, all of that. But I think for me, it's just the mountains are so different in the like KZN, Lesotho, all of those places compared to the mountains in the Western Cape.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you talk about the best place to ride. I've never ridden there, but I grew up going on holiday there. You've just come sort of from there on your holiday. Is the Transkei.
Transkei.
Transkei is my favorite place in South Africa. Like I said, I grew up fishing there every holiday. And that for me, that's real God's country. That's like, we're so quick to go overseas to the Maldives and Mauritius and Seychelles. we've got a place on our doorstep here that is untouched beaches, beautiful. There's, guys catching crayfish in the morning. You wake up in the morning, there's crayfish lying there and you can buy it, helping these guys out. They've got fresh fish. It's the most beautiful place. And I've never ridden there, but I'm planning on doing that very soon. But that's one of the best places in the country for me. And I'd really like to get out there and actually ride there. Maybe we should organize a weekend away.
I would love it, bro, because the most special thing for me is, as you mentioned, how untouched it is by white culture, pretty much, by white people ruining things. Because it's so, obviously there's a lot of poverty there. I think Eastern Cape's the lowest income in the country. So obviously there's very little money in the Eastern Cape. But that's what makes it so beautiful, is that there's so much that's just untouched.
Exactly.
And there's so much that has maintained its beauty because it hasn't been as colonized as other areas in our country. I mean, my parents, I've been going there. They started going there before I was even born. I've been going there there's maybe 1 year in the last 28 years that I haven't gone.
Yeah.
So I'll keep going back. If my parents are going and I'm not doing anything, I'm going to go there because to be able to run, to be able to cycle, as you mentioned, guys are catching fish, whatever, you can go get some.
No signal.
No signal.
Cell phone reception. Amazing.
You can go and catch mussels and then cook them yourself and eat them. Like the beach, there's probably like 100 meters of beach and then of sand and then the water.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how the Durban beaches are like a 20%
and
incline.
polluted. There's
and
E. coli
polluted.
and cholera and what, who knows what else. No, but that place is very special to me. Like a lot of the farmers in Natal have built cottages there in the Transkei, illegally, obviously. They go there and meet with the chief and they give him a bottle of whiskey and a few cows and he goes, right, there's your little.
It's fascinating how it still works like that, hey?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And like there's places like La Platte. I think there's 5 cottages there. It's hard to get there, which is quite cool. There's no cell phone reception. These 5 cottages are all farmers from like Crichton, Donnybrook, Bulwer, sort of where I grew up. And they all share, this is your turn, this is your weekend. And they proper, like, there's the generators. I mean, now I'm sure they got solar and things like that, but again, they can't have panels, they'll get stolen. It's proper lock up and go, but like it's rustic, like real rustic. For me, that's a real holiday. And like I said, like 4 cottages, you go there, the waterfall bluffs there. It's one of the only waterfalls in the world that actually ends in the sea. So it falls into the sea.
Sure.
It's epic. But that whole coastline from like Coffee Bay, which I don't regard as Transkei. I think that's still a bit commercial, but from like there all the way up to Port St. John's, Mgazan, Mgazi, again, Mgazi is like where the Lanis go to the Transkei, but like Mgazan is rural, rough, rustic, Mboiki, all of those places. That for me is the most beautiful part of our country and so untouched and so neglected, which is so lacquer though. I mean, I did a road trip with some friends a few years ago. We started in Cape Town, went to the Sevens. From the Sevens, we literally went up the whole coastline all the way to Port St. John. So like, we went to Jeffreys Bay, St. Francis, then like Coffee Bay, and then went up the coastline and stayed at all like backpackers. That was the best holiday I've been on to date.
Yeah.
Literally our southern coastline, and it was amazing.
And as you mentioned earlier, people are so quick to jump on a plane and go to these different places where even Clarence.
Yeah.
To be able to drive 4 hours and to be able to be exposed to that, I mean, it's incredible. There's no, obviously, if you want to go skiing or whatever, you do need to go overseas. You don't want to go do a single slope at Afri-Ski in Lesotho. It's a nice experience, but if you want to be skiing, like you can't go there.
Yeah.
But even Lesotho, I mean, how incredible, Mozambique, like all of these places that are so close to where we are.
Exactly, that falls in that exact same bracket as the Transkei, is that we are so quick to go on a plane, go to Portugal, go to Europe, go to Mauritius, whatever. Where Mozambique's on our doorstep and it's the most incredible beaches. It's the same color, that beautiful turquoise that you see on these like brochures to come to Mauritius for whatever. It's there in Mozambique on our doorstep.
And I mean, even if I'm thinking now of like in the Kruger area, Limpopo, like the Bladder River Canyon, all of those places are absolutely incredible. I've seen so many videos on Instagram where you might think that this is in You want to take your shirt off?
Yeah. And my jersey, bro. I'm going to get rinsed for that. Thanks, Jess.
So it's like, just pull that a bit closer. Yeah. So it was the Instagram video where it's like, you might think this is whatever mountainous region somewhere else, or you might think this is our country in South Africa. And you realize like, there's actually so much to offer in our country.
There really is. There's so many hidden gems. A few years back, I was doing quite a lot of trail running, and that took me to really cool places. And I forget what it's called, man. And it's got these like pools. It's up. God, I'm gone completely blank again. It's called something pools, rock pools, monkey pools, something pools. But again, you go there and there's these little rock pools that you can dive in and swim in. Sick trail running. There's so many hikes and stuff in and around here that like we don't go to or use. Everyone's like, oh, we need to go to Cape Town to trail run. We've got such beautiful places, to run. Natal as well. Such like our country is beautiful. It's probably, I mean, I've traveled. I haven't gone everywhere. I've traveled a bit, and we really do have an absolutely beautiful country that we don't see enough of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to. I've actually got a mate of mine whose dad has done a marathon on every continent in the world.
Oh, wow.
But even to just do, obviously, if they offer that, or even just do it yourself, is to maybe go to every relatively, well, one that you could at least Google and find the location, hikes and trail running spots in the country, and just go and do that. Because I think you'll be exposed to so much that you might not
But
be.
it's even like the Skukuza marathon. Look how sick that is. You do a marathon through a game farm.
Yeah.
It's like lions and tigers. Not tigers, but you know how the Americans are like, oh my God, you're lions in your back garden. Like there's literally lions and hyenas and elephants all around, and you're running through this game reserve. And like that's something that like a bunch of my mates did it last year, and they're all like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like these are things we should be doing.
Yeah.
Instead of
so
going
accessible.
to Boston to do the Boston Marathon.
Yeah.
Yes, that's cool. Do it if you can. But like on your doorstep right here, how many people can say they run a marathon in and amongst lions?
Yeah. No, that's cool. This the guy's dad, he actually did one in Antarctica.
Oh, no way.
Which I think, I mean, that's exceptionally difficult
That's
because of how
mental.
cold it is. But
Yeah.
I mean, he did one on the Great Wall of China. So it's very cool to do all of those things. And I mean, I would love to say that I've done a marathon in every continent, but then also just to say I've done all these different trail runs in our country is also something that I'd love to say.
Exactly. I think we should get on that.
Maybe.
Like start a little
community, a little
community, cult.
That's what's fascinating about fitness.
Yeah, the cults.
And the cults.
Every gym is a cult. Every discipline is like there's a CrossFit cult, there's a HIIT house cult, there's a switch cult. It's like, and every gym is it's so funny.
How humans just flock together to try find like-minded, because it reaffirms yourself. If I like CrossFit, that guy likes CrossFit, all we talk about is CrossFit. It's like, okay, cool, people are similar to me, and it just makes you feel like you're part of something.
I'm a part of quite a few cults.
So obviously there's CrossFit, there's Hyrox.
Yeah, CrossFit, Hyrox, the mountain biking cult. I'm a bit of a gym slut. I mean, I love HIIT house. I like that high intensity stuff. So, but I mean, I always laugh. Like they'll see me everywhere. I'll go to like an F45 class, and then I'll go to a switch class or a Hyrox, HIIT house class, and then I'm at Hyrox. Like I want to do everything. I dig it. I really enjoy doing it all, and you can find what you really like. CrossFit's always been like my base, my go-to, my everyday sort of workout. But like I enjoy mixing it up. There's a new one coming to South Africa now called Deadly Dozen. It's really new. It's like 12 disciplines. I mean, I guess that's like how Hyrox started. Oaks was like, well, this CrossFit shit's boring. Let's try something else. And Hyrox suits me better. I'm more of a cardio queen myself. So it actually suits me down to the ground. So yeah, bro, I mean, like I said, there's always new things, and you can be part of all these different cults. But again, it's cool being with like-minded, like you say, like-minded people, and part of a community. I mean, we're speaking about it now, talking about the guys at Burnt and the guys at 247 represent, like those are not brands, they are communities. Like runners, any runner will be like, I really need to get some 247 kit. It's like that's such a big cult, and George Heaton's capitalized on that, and Pierre from Burnt, they've capitalized on that, and they've created these communities, and it's so cool. Again, these are not brands, they're communities, and people want to be part of it. I don't think you can walk on the promenade in Cape Town without seeing someone wear Burnt.
I mean, I was in the Eastern Cape and I saw people wearing Burnt. And, you know, at the Beacon Bay gym, there's Oaks in Burnt. So it's nice to see how it's so widespread.
Yeah.
I mean, even over the last year at my local gym in Joburg, I've seen more people just wearing Burnt.
That's so
and it's
cool.
not just the ladies. 'Cause obviously, maybe it's more popular for now with the ladies.
Well, I guess it started out with the ladies.
It started with the ladies. And I mean, now I'm seeing a lot of guys in Burnt.
Yeah.
But
I got my Burnt shorts.
yeah,
on.
exactly. I should have worn something Burnt. Sorry, guys.
Shout out to Burnt.
But it's just fascinating to see how it's grown. And it's because, I mean, how good of a business model is that?
No, it's epic.
For you, obviously, they do lots of marketing, but your audience, the people that are buying your products are marketing it for you. To have a brand that people are proud to post, to have a brand that people want other people to see them wearing. I mean, that's why people make sure that their Louis Vuitton bag is in the photo. It's the same with Burnt. Burnt has created such a community, a proud community that has, willed people to want to share Burnt photos. And let's hope that they can share my run post this week.
Well, though, that the quality is really good. Like, it's not just
that people don't get disappointed.
And I'm not getting paid for this.
this.
It really is good quality. But like, and I think that's where there was a gap in the market in South Africa. Like, we were buying Adidas, Nike. That's all we could. Like, there was no South African brand that was really cool. And that's what the guys at Burn have done. They've created a brand, good quality brand, and created this community that people want to be part of, want to be seen in it. And I think it's epic. I think it's
I would
cool.
say a previous brand, but it was more gym culture focused, was like Deranged and Wildcats and that company. And I mean, I was a part of it for a while.
Yeah, you would know.
Yeah, so I would know. And, that was the South African Gymshark, if you will, type of thing, and it was really popular. And that's also just how the fitness scene has changed.
But that was just in the gym world.
It was in the gym world.
That's the thing. Like, people who are not even going to gym are wearing Burnt just to walk on the promenade.
But that's also because their product offering is so widespread that, the top that you just took off, you can wear that to the gym.
Yeah.
But you can wear that going to a restaurant.
Yeah. All the jaw.
Yeah, all the jaw. That's also where fashion trends have gone within fitness attire, is being, street fashion-y, and it's transformed into, you can wear your Burnt running clothes to a bra, to a restaurant, to all these different
active
places.
Wear's in, bro.
Yeah,
and it's cool because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
I would live in active wear if I could.
That top, I've got the washed grey one or whatever it is. And it's so comfortable.
Yeah.
I wish I could just have 5 so that I got it, I think it was in the beginning of winter, they brought out that one. And it was just so nice to wear. And it's comfortable, and it's like a heavy, it's like a comfort blanket. Like, it's nice. Like,
it is.
It's proper material.
Yeah, it's heavy. You see how heavy this thing is, bro.
In a good way.
Yeah, like, not heavy as in like I'm wearing a weighted vest, but you can just feel the quality. We are marketing so much for Burnt. They better send us some shit.
And that's also in terms like you wearing the trail now.
Yeah.
It's also very functional for its purpose of the training aspect. But
Absolutely.
then if you walk through Woolworths buying your groceries, no one will be like, who's this guy in his little poly shorts here
exactly.
buying some groceries? And
they are so comfortable. I promise you, I'll wear these like on a Sunday if I'm not even exercising.
Yeah. I sleep in mine.
Now you're pushing it.
No, I'm serious.
No way.
If I'm training the next day, like really early, I'll just because I don't sleep in pajamas. I'm not a pajama guy.
I don't sleep in anything.
Naked. Not even jogs.
Not even jogs. No ways. I kachat.
No, bro. I'm scared someone's gonna walk in. What's under here?
Yeah, but people make jokes. There's memes about that. Like, how can you sleep naked? Like, if you get broken into. But
confident, bro. You sure of yourself? There's nothing wrong with that.
I cannot sleep with clothes at all. Like, I won't be able to sleep.
Even in winter.
Just
have extra blankets.
Just
rather.
a big duvet, bro.
Yeah.
Winter duvet. Yeah, no. But I quite like. I like being cold and then getting into bed.
Yeah.
Like now,
I think the body temperature, room temperature, optimally for the best sleep is like 17 degrees. Apparently.
Yeah, but my aircon's cranked at 17 properly.
This one now, I think I put it at 19.
Oh,
but I did it on 19 so that you can take your clothes off. So obviously going into this year, I mean, obviously when I see you, I'm doing Hyrox, or so are you. But are you focusing more on Hyrox?
Boo,
You don't know.
no. Like I love CrossFit. I'm part of that cult. That's my favorite cult, my main cult. But again, going back, it sounds so weird to say I'm getting old. Like I'm not old, I know, but I'm like and I've been very fortunate in terms of injury. I'm not injury prone at all. Touch wood. I don't get a lot of injury. I haven't had a lot of injuries. I've had one serious injury. I had patella tendonitis. Worst thing ever. It took 2 years to fix. I did everything. Shock therapy, platelets, literally everything. I couldn't fix it. And I found a dude on Instagram called the Knees Over Toes guy.
My mom has told me to follow this guy.
I promise you. I did his program, paid in dollars, did it. It was like, I think it was a 3-month program. I just did 1 month of it and it fixed it.
Okay.
In 1 month. I'd had it for 2 years.
It was like certain stretches.
It's all about like strengthening your tibialis, which is like one of the most neglected muscles. People don't do that. So like it's all about strengthening everything around the knee.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is like up until this guy's his theory, up until that, it was like you must never put your knees over your toes. Like it goes against how your body should train. And he flipped that all on his head. He was like, no, you must. So his whole program is about your knees over your toes and training all the muscles around it and strengthening it. Because patella tendonitis, what I've done is your tendon is like a string. I've damaged this. It's like frayed string. You can't fix it. That's how it is now. But it was so but I couldn't even drive to Pretoria without stopping, like getting out the car and like, it was the worst thing ever. And this dude on Instagram helped me. If anyone with knee problems, I'd highly recommend it. Like it's quite funny. Like I was in the gym, because he's all like that backwards notion thing. So I was in the gym, standing on the treadmill, walking backwards without the treadmill on. People walk in the gym like, what is this oak doing? But like everyone on the treadmill is all running that way, and I'm standing there walking backwards. And they're like, is this dude all right? But that strengthened so much, and sled pulling and all of that strengthened everything around it. And touch wood, don't have any problems, bro. Shout out Knees Over Toes guy.
So you're doing Hyrox in March though?
Oh yeah, that was your question. Getting older, getting injuries. CrossFit, again, like it's lift as heavy as you can, as quick as you can. It's unconventional. It's opens yourself up to injuries. Nothing against CrossFit. CrossFit's amazing. I love it. But I think I'm transforming into more of that sort of Hyrox, which suits my training, that you're not lifting as much. You're still
lifting, so your muscles are being activated.
Exactly, but not really lifting. You sled pull, sled push. So I'm sort of transferring into that sort of training, which does suit me and I enjoy it. I will go to CrossFit, but again, I think I've hopefully matured enough that I don't have to lift the heaviest or try to compete with the oaks next to me that are lifting heavier. That's my thing, is to try not to go to the gym and try not kill myself in terms of trying to lift the heaviest weights. Move into that more cardio. So that's what I enjoy. I enjoy cardio. I really do.
I enjoy cardio because I can eat more. With bodybuilding, it was like, okay, cool. Here's your 2,500 calories. Here's your 2,000 calories. Stick to that, because you're burning 300 calories walking on a treadmill. That's your cardio.
Yeah.
Whereas this morning, I mean, okay, I burned 20 calories less than you. I still need to make that up later. Are you training? You said you're going for a run just now?
Yeah.
Or you can train this evening?
I'm either going to run in this evening and then I'll go to CrossFit.
How am I going to keep up with your calories today? No, I'm just going to go do a boot session this afternoon. So, what was I going with this?
We're going about the eating, which I agree with you so much.
The bodybuilding thing was, like, if I look at, let's say, I throw all caution to the wind and I have a terrible Saturday. I go out for a braai. I'm like, I'm eating what I want. With running and endurance and CrossFit, it's so much easier to rectify those. I don't want to say mistakes, because then it makes a negative picture around it. But those decisions become less detrimental when you the next day can go and run for 2 hours, and you're burning so many more calories, as opposed to going to the gym. Even by training legs, you may be burning 800, maybe. So that's what's nice, is it allows you a little bit more freedom and flexibility in your life.
100%, bro. And like, being the glutton I am, like, I love food. I'm a fat kid at heart.
Bro, everyone is a fat kid. I don't think people understand that everyone is a fat kid.
No, bro, I am, like, I'm a proper fat kid. Like, I go to Woolies and it's like, I'll buy the chicken biryani, like it's like feeds a family of 4.
Yeah.
But that's one portion for me. That's my lunch. I eat what's in front of me. So I get meals delivered. That was a big part of my journey, was getting meals delivered, like portion controlled. Shout out to Fit Foods. So like I eat what's in front of me. So like I'll go to Willie's buy that and I eat the whole thing. I'm like, screw you, Willie's. That's not a family of 4. Dude. That's me by my Willie's rotisserie chicken, gone.
Yeah,
easy. I eat what's in front of me. So yes, going to what you're saying, doing all this exercise allows me to be the inner piggy that I am.
Yeah.
But that's not the right way to look at it. We shouldn't be training
to eat more.
Yeah. Absolutely not, but it does help.
But eating, and the biggest thing for me, I mean, it's nice to eat nice food with people.
Yes.
You know, there's more community. You share
Absolutely.
better. You're feeling a bit better because you're eating nice food. They're feeling better. So the conversation might be better. So there's a lot of, like, that shouldn't be overlooked in terms of maybe it's okay at the braai to have a little bit of whatever people are having because it almost helps with the connection. There's no...
Bro, I eat all the braai meat on the braai, like off the braai while it's cooking. Everyone sits down like to eat and like, no, you're not eating. Or I'm already full because I've eaten the whole burri and like 5 chops and a steak just straight off the braai. I think that's how you should eat a braai, off the braai.
I agree. As long as it's cooked, not chicken.
Yeah.
The raw, but I'm always... I really want to take some of the society. I'm like, I gotta wait this chicken. Just wait until it's actually done.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas the boerewors, you can eat some of it before you even put it on
the braai. Except, well, you're not going to get worms. I'm like, no, bro, do yourself a favor and eat some raw burri. Yeah. Like that gebo, just pop it out the top there, put it in your back. It's so lekker.
For you, as a glutton, just like me, what for you is there any food that is like your favorite?
Bro, I love sweets, but I'm more of a like savory type of guy. So like samosas, bread. Bread is, I love bread.
You've had a really bad day at work.
Yeah. Okay.
People are giving you issues. Everyone's trying to fight with you, and you just like, I don't want to eat this chicken and rice.
Yeah.
What's your go-to?
Probably like a burger and chips, like a solid, like a loaded burger with like avo, bacon, feta, like everything on the burger, and then like nice slap chips, white vinegar, bang in my bag, and then I'll like have ice cream. I'm an ice cream slut. Yes, I love ice cream. I would eat ice cream every day if I could.
Yeah,
absolutely love it. So yeah, probably a burger and chips. And it's funny, like you say that, when you do have a shit day or like I emotional eat, 100%. If I've had a bad day, if I'm going through something, it's like a big weekend, like I'll eat badly. And it's so bad because then it creates that negative cycle. Because you feel cuck, you eat cuck, then you feel cuck about eating the cuck. And it's just like this downward spiral. But no, I'm a sucker for KFC was my thing. I haven't had KFC probably in like 5 years, 6 years, I don't know. But that was back then when I was 104. That was my go-to. Those dunked wings. I would remember. I was at work. I'd leave work. I would stop at a KFC, get the dunked wings, 8 of them, those sticky dunked wings, and then I'd drive home. Before I was even home, I'd already finished those 8. So I was driving, eating those dunked wings before I even got home, and I'd still have like a Colonel burger on the side there, just to wash it all down.
Bro, you're an adult and you got money. Just do what you want. That's the most dangerous thing about being an adult.
Yeah, because when you were a kid, no one supervising us.
There's no one and that's, I think also, there's still that inner child in us. Which is fascinating.
I never grew up with fast. I grew up on the farm. There was no KFC. So I think that's why it became a thing, for me at least. Like, there was no Steers, there's no KFC, there's no... I went to boarding school from a very young age. Like, my family, they grocery shop for the month. We got 2 deep chest freezers. My mom will go to town and buy for the month. So I didn't grow up with that stuff. Like, people living in Joburg, like... Wacky Wednesday was like such a hectic concept for me. I was like, fuck, I'm going to get 4.
And I don't have to cook it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't need to debone this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we were on rations on the farm. Like, I'd remember that, that afternoon hunger. Like, now I can, like, on the way home, get whatever. Like, my mom used to bake rusks. And I could sink a rusk. I I'd make tea and then I'd dunk all the rust and char them until the tea was finished. I hadn't even drunk the tea, and there's just that thick layer of
all the rest has just absorbed the tea. Yeah.
all that stuff at the bottom. Like and my mom made thousands of them. Like she'd make batches and then like put them in those big Tupperwares, those big Addis Tupperwares, and like that was but again, I was like young, my metabolism, it doesn't affect me at all.
Bro, I'm only 28, and you obviously would have witnessed it. I would say maybe like after 23, I saw my metabolism just deteriorate.
Yeah, bro,
and at 23 is still so young, but already my metabolism was like, nah. I don't know if it was maybe how my metabolism because of bodybuilding. I don't want to say it is, because I think it's more just you're on a downward spiral after 25.
Getting older sucks, bro.
Yeah.
It sucks. It really does. Like I said, I mean, not much had changed from when I moved to South Africa as opposed to when I was traveling. Like I lived in Edinburgh for 2 years. My boss I was managing a restaurant. I mean, a late night bar, but he owned a restaurant. So he would bring us pizza every night from the restaurant. That was our staff meal. So I was eating pizza every night. I was drinking every night. I was living a very unhealthy, and I wasn't doing any exercise. I wasn't I remember thinking I should join a water polo gym or something. I think that idea went very quickly. I was 19, 20 years old, drilling hard, and but I was in shape. Like I came back sober. I was still fine then. I think I even still had abs. I saw a picture and I was like, how was I in such good shape? But I was doing nothing, absolutely nothing. Now I look at Omar Rusk and I'm like,
yeah. That's also why I think like old, like 60, 70-year-old guys that are really shredded, I think deserve so much respect.
Absolutely.
Because as you mentioned, looking at food almost makes you put on weight at our age. Because I know for a fact, I can't have more than one bad day.
Yeah.
I can't have more than one bad day because I will see the negative consequences thereof. So it's, okay, I used to be able to, when I was younger, maybe have 3, 4, 5, maybe a week, maybe a full December, and it would maybe take me a week to bounce back.
Yeah. How many kgs did you put on in December generally?
Bro, it was like 20. But that was also the bodybuilding, holding water, all of that. But it was genuinely
I used to average like 8 kgs every December. Yeah. This is the first December ever that I haven't actually put on any weight, but I wasn't drooling.
Which is, I think it's so much healthier because I used to, and bodybuilding definitely, I won't say bodybuilding. I myself, within the bodybuilding, allowed bodybuilding to
it's called body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
You know, I've both got it. Yeah, you know, both. A lot of guys that we know have got
absolutely. Everyone does.
Yeah, but I think we've got it bad.
Yeah, that's okay. I accept it.
Yeah, I've accepted it.
Like, and that's the fascinating thing is, like, I'll look at myself and I'll say, I won't look at myself and think I look bad.
Yeah, but you're not as good as you could look.
I'll look at myself, but I won't be like, yo, you look great.
Yeah.
I'll never think that.
Yeah.
But I'll be like, okay, I'm looking leaner. That's cool. But that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do better.
I can do better. My abs could show more. And my biceps could be a little bit bigger. Yeah. I mean, well, we're exactly the same like that. And it's toxic. but it keeps us training, which is
I don't know. See, I don't know if it is toxic. Depends, obviously, the levels of it.
Yeah.
Because there are the levels.
Well, I mean, you've been in your bodybuilding world, you've been at the highest level of body dysmorphia you can possibly get. Like, I don't think I have it as bad as you had it.
And that's for me was the shift. It was the highest level of body dysmorphia, the peak, what society might claim to be physical condition,
yes,
but functionally terribly.
And now dad bods are in, bro. Now we're in shape,
which
and dad bods are in.
I think that's going to be out.
I hope so, bro. I've worked really hard for this.
But that's why I got into more running and all of that, because I looked fit.
Yeah.
I looked like I could run whatever.
Yeah, but you couldn't run 2Ks.
I couldn't run 2Ks. I wasn't even really that strong.
Yeah.
I was definitely stronger than I am now. I've definitely lost strength with all the cardio and all of that. But that's okay because, and that's where I wanted to get to a point of someone's like, come run a 21 with me, or come cycle 100 Ks, or come lift, let's go do chest together. Maybe we should do mid-mile next month. Like that's the kind of thing.
Have you done a mid-mile?
No, I did like swimming in grade 7, but I've got mates that are talking about doing it. So
Yeah,
maybe I
please,
should.
I'll do one with you. I've
Okay.
done like 15 of those things.
Okay. Maybe that'll be my entry then into getting into triathlons.
Oh wow, no, you don't want to go down that road.
I
Actually, you
know.
do. That's really cool. But
You see, I'm too obsessive with what I do. So now
you got a lot of time on your hands, though, Bruce. So you'll be alright.
I don't know. But that's what I've tried to do is structure my work life
Yeah.
around my training, not my training around my work life.
Yeah.
And for me, because I believe I would like to live like a professional athlete. That for me is the ideal life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just love
Train 3
killing
times a day.
myself, maybe doing some work, whatever, but then
work.
killing myself a little bit later in the day.
Yeah.
Being able to have a nap during the day, not having to deal with clients constantly. Like that for me is ideal.
Where did I sign up for this gig?
Yeah, bro, like I would love to be a professional athlete. So that's why I've tried to structure, because I do get more joy and happiness from training
Yes.
as opposed, like making money is cool. But I know I would rather be able to train 5 times more a month than make 10,000 Rand more a month or whatever.
Absolutely.
And so that's why,
And you'll live longer.
you'll live longer.
When you die, you can't put your money in your grave.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can.
But
I
also
mean,
with more money, you can afford yourself to do
nice things.
and
buy nice things.
and buy nice things. Buy the latest watch
and then latest
and the newest
shoes.
shoes. But that's also, I think,
But if we're professional athletes, we'll get sponsored. and then we won't need to buy these things.
Well, let's think. Okay, we need an invoice burnt for the promo.
Burnt, Fit Foods,
247.
247. Yo, we got some invoicing to do after this.
But I mean, also, like, that's why I've tried to obviously still make money, because then you can afford to go, and it's okay for you to, it's not like that 8,000 Rand for Bergenbush was a lot.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool, I can go do that. It's not like going away to all these places where you can then still do the training and everything.
No, we need money, bro.
Yeah, you need money. You need money. And I think
anyone watching this podcast that wants to sponsor us to be amateur professional athletes.
Wannabe pros, yeah.
Please.
Maybe Bert needs to come out with a wannabe professional, because they got the Burnt Fit Pro pants and all of that. We need to get the amateur stuff.
Amateur pros.
Amateur pros. So this year, Hyrox, March. Have you set anything like competition-wise or races?
So Hyrox Cape Town was my first Hyrox. Was the first one in South Africa. I entered a month before the event. Burnt actually had a competition where they were sponsoring Oaks to do it. And they sponsored me to do it a month before. I hadn't even entered, actually. And I phoned Dom. I was like, Dom, I need to come train Hyrox with you. He's like, why? I was like, I'm doing Cape Town. He's like, no ways, pull in. So that was like last minute. I really enjoyed it. I came 6th in my category. I ran an extra lap on my second
How did that
lap.
happen?
How?
You just kept going.
I'm not a very good listener. Okay, it's like you'll see at the gym. Dom gets. I don't even ask Dom like what the workout is after he's told us.
Honestly, I'm trying to concentrate on trying to remember as well. I don't know what's going on
so
with anyone
bad,
else.
and I'm far-sighted. So like mid-workout, I walk up to the board and I'm like, okay. It's like, why is that always walking to the board? Like
touching his nose on the board.
Yeah. And Chris has been with me at the CrossFit for like 8. He just knows. Right? Like I'm doing box jumps. And I'm like, what's next? He's like, toes to bar. And I'm like, thanks. like I'm so bad at that stuff. And like, I'm a really bad listener. And it was my fault, dude. Like I ran, like there was so much to that. It was my first one. I was sponsored by Burnt. I had the Burnt videographer following me. There was a lot of pressure on me. Like everyone was like, Neil, you're going to kill it. You're going to do so well. So I was heightened pressure. I was competing against all the other oaks from RPM. So like there was so much, and then you got 8 different disciplines to think about. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna run a K, and then I got to go sled pull, and then I'm gonna run another K, and then I got to go sled push. You know, like you're trying to remember the sequence. It's because I hadn't, you know, if I'd been doing this for years, no problem. But it's quite common. Bear in mind, a lot of people do it extra laps, so I'm not the only idiot. But yeah, there was just so much going on, and yeah, bro, I ran the extra lap and I was leading my group, my batch. And I saw an oak in my batch come out the next station, like in front of me. And I was like, bro, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh shit, I ran one too little. And I'm like, no, I've ran. So he thought I messed up his races. He thought he'd run too little. Messed up mine because I'd run an extra. Then I was disgruntled, bro. Or like, I don't give up anything in life, but I think I was the closest I've ever got to like walking off the track or giving up. But then I knew that the burnt videographer was following me.
You don't want that on film.
That wouldn't have been a cool after video. And like how I explained to everyone that I quit, what happened? I could have said I pulled a hamstring
I ran
or
extra
something.
laps, so I gave up.
Yeah, but I was disgruntled. I was bleak. I was miff. But like I was like, Neil, man up. Like you're running quite strong. You can catch up. I think I still did okay. So I've got a vendetta. Like I want to see what I can do without running that extra lap. I mean, I'll take the 6th any day of my life. For my first one. I'm worried about the altitude. There was quite lekker running in Cape Town.
Yeah.
No, Joburg is going to be interesting.
You have to go train in Hyrox RPM in Clarence.
Yeah. Oh, Dahlstrom. Dahlstrom's
yeah.
the highest park run or it was the highest park run in the world. I think then Aspen opened one or something, and theirs is now higher. But it's fascinating that Dahlstrom was the highest park run in the whole world.
Sure.
I think it's the second now. So like, yeah, a lot of folks go train up in Dahlstrom for the altitude. Maybe we do that.
Yeah. Dom, bro. If you watch this podcast, probably not an hour in, but you need to set up RPM there in Clarence. I mean, in Dahlstrom.
Just a training camp.
Yeah,
Just we go for the
camp.
weekend.
Yeah, because I've seen lots of runners go and go train there.
Altitude training, bro. So that was the advantage from us Joburgers going to Cape Town. We had that, we'd been training up here, then to go there. That I think that like the promenade's designed for every Joburger's PB on a 5K.
Yeah, you see like 5 meters elevation going. I'm like, no wonder you ran that time.
Yeah, exactly. I was running sub 17s, sub 18s, 5Ks. I mean,
but at least then you're at the benefit of them coming here.
Yeah.
Because they sea level. Then they come here, then it's like 1,500. What's going on? Whereas we've acclimatized now to this being baseline.
Exactly.
So it's cool. It's okay for us because this is normal.
Exactly.
Whereas for them, it's high.
It's going to be harder. Yeah, Oaks and Cape Town, better train harder.
Go train on the mountains. Still won't be enough. Bro, thank you.
Jesse, thank you,
Appreciate
bro.
your time.
Thank you so much. I just want to say that it's an absolute honor being on your show after Ryan Gibbons.
Yeah.
What a legend. I don't know what I deserve to do that. But yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. It's been real.
Dope, bro. Lekker.
Lekker.